with coverage you can count on. This is the Erie News NOWCAST.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Haley Potter. Thanks for joining us for tonight's edition of the Erie News NOWCAST. Johnson & Johnson announced new research today showing that a booster shot of its coronavirus vaccine might be needed. Officials at UPMC Hammett say they administer both the Pfizer and the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Since the vaccine rollout began, the hospital has administered over 60,000 doses so far. One of the big questions they've been getting is if there could be new side effects with booster shots, and officials say it's not likely, but you should not mix and match your vaccine brands.
Right now, we anticipate that you will need to stay with the vaccine that you received initially. So if you received the Pfizer would be your booster dose. If you received the Moderna and Johnson & Johnson the same.
Now, officials say while these booster shots are great news, they are still pushing for more people to get that first dose of the vaccine. And speaking of vaccines, the Crawford County Fair is hosting a vaccination clinic today and tomorrow, offering walk-up shots to fairgoers so you can get your funnel cake and your vaccine in the same sitting. The Meadville Medical Center is offering COVID-19 vaccines to anyone who wants them. If you'd like to be protected, just visit the Meadville Medical Center tent on the fairgrounds. You'll get a dose of the Pfizer vaccine and be in and out within 20 minutes. Hospital officials say each dose is a step toward keeping Crawford County safer.
The point of the vaccine, right, is that it's not that you necessarily won't get COVID. I mean, you still can get COVID. However, the side effects of once you do get COVID are much lower than when you have not received the vaccine.
You can visit the booth from 10 to 5 tomorrow to get the vaccine. And Pennsylvania's governor wants a statewide requirement that students wear masks in classrooms. Governor Tom Wolf told legislative leaders that lawmakers should be called back to Harrisburg immediately to work on a bill to order masks for schools and child care facilities. Wolf says concerned parents, pediatricians, teachers, and others have been urging state officials for such a mandate. A spokesperson for the House GOP caucus says its members are opposed to voting on a statewide mask mandate. And we're just 5 days away from the return of students in the area's biggest school district. We're talking more than 10,000 kids in the city of Erie. Tonight, students were getting the chance to see their new teachers and buildings at an open house that kicked off earlier tonight. Assistant Superintendent Teresa Scumaglia says tonight's open house is all about meeting their teachers, learning about the programs, and seeing where all of the success will happen.
Some of our kiddos have not been in our buildings for almost a year and a half, so we're excited to have them back. They can see what their classrooms look like. They can hopefully see some of their classmates, and they'll be able to meet their teachers, so we're excited for that as well.
And Kristen Allen was at that open house, and she will have details on Erie News Now at 10 and 11 o'clock. With the fall sports season beginning next week, conference officials are urging all athletes and coaches to get vaccinated. Commissioner Steve Murray says right now teams across the conference are averaging a 72% vaccination rate. Murray says that's strong, but the PSAC would like to get around 85 to 90% across all sports. Unvaccinated players and coaches must test 3 times a week throughout the year. Murray says they are providing information to educate those who are unvaccinated about the process as they hope to lessen testing as the year moves along.
The more people we have vaccinated, the less testing's required, which is, a bit of a burden on a lot of folks. And then also the likelihood that it's not found because you're not necessarily testing the vaccinated.
The conference is also expected to release guidelines for the fans this year next week. The U.S. military is moving to mandate the COVID-19 vaccine for all service members. During today's Pentagon briefing, spokesperson James Kirby said that Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin had determined that vaccinations are necessary for the safety of service members. Service members must receive their shots immediately. According to the Pentagon, more than 800,000 service members have yet to get their shots. Among active force members, 69% are fully vaccinated. And some continuing coverage tonight with President Biden sticking to his August 31st deadline to pull out of Afghanistan. The State Department and U.S. military are working around the clock to get Americans out. In an anxiously awaited update today, the Secretary of State saying there may be as many as 1,500 Americans still actively seeking to leave. President Biden is sticking to his August 31st deadline, but also ordering contingency plans in case troops have to stay longer. And the United Way of Erie County will soon be under new leadership. The agency says President and Chief Professional Officer Bill Jackson will retire at the end of the year. Jackson has served as the local United Way president since 2009, while Lori Root is being promoted to president effective immediately. She's been senior vice president for the past 7 years. Jackson's list of accomplishments during his time as United Way president include implementing what's known as the community school strategy at 11 local schools and launched the Imagination Library program to make books available to young children. Thanks for joining us for the Erie News Nowcast. Join us for our next news at 10 p.m. on the CW and 11 p.m. on WICU and WSEE. Have a great night.